Gabriel Weimann is a professor of communications at the University of Haifa and also a member of the Wilson Center's alumni. He was a former fellow here at the center, and it's really great to see you back in the building. Welcome back.
Nice to be here again.
And we're here to talk about your new book, Terrorism in Cyberspace, The Next Generation. I want to start with your previous book, Terror on the Internet, and tell me how much has changed since you wrote that one and now the release of this new book.
Well, let me tell you, don't buy that book.
That much has changed.
It's outdated, yeah. That was published in 2006. 2006, no Twitter, no Instagram, no YouTube, no Facebook. We are looking at a new type of online terrorism.
So the loose, if I understand correctly, part of your theory, the loose-knit structure of terrorist networks and organizations is a perfect match for the internet.
Right. Actually, the internet became the ideal platform for terrorists. It's uncontrolled, uncensored, and nobody can prevent them from using it. And on top of it, it's a media that is, I would say, provides them with all the facilities they need to interact, to communicate, to recruit, to seduce. Just one example. Think about Google Earth. As a terrorist, isn't it nice to have free satellite services for a terrorist group? Google Earth provides them with the service.
Yeah, that was cost prohibitive at one time. Now, with a click for free, essentially, if you have access to the internet. So how sophisticated do these efforts need to be in order to exploit these opportunities? I would guess even a ham-handed person could have some success.
Yeah, well, most of the stuff terrorists do online is not that complicated. I mean, what they do online is uploading information, uploading videos, uploading manuals, trying to preach, to seduce, to recruit, and so on. Nevertheless, we do see evidence of growing sophistication, and I would say an alarming evidence of growing sophistication. That is, we are looking not only on persuasive appeals sent worldwide, but also at what I call narrowcasting in my book. That is, targeting specific subpopulation with specific messages. ISIS, for example, managed to recruit 30,000 warriors, mostly from Western societies. All of them were recruited online. They never went to a training camp, they were not recruited in a mosque or so. All of it was done online. And all of it was done not by using one measure, one appeal, but different, narrow-casted appeals to different subpopulations.
So this increase in sophistication isn't just about technical capacity, it's also about strategy, storytelling, targeting, recruitment.
Right. Psychology, sociology. It's not just religious appeals, it's not just promising 72 virgins. It is much more sophisticated there. It appeals to a feeling of alienation, social frustration, solitude, and so on. So very often those persuasive appeals online don't start with come to us and kill others, but death, terrorism, bombs are not mentioned there. Is if you feel alone, brother, come to us. We will provide you with the community that you need.
Timeless and universal. People want a home. They want to belong.
But we should also remember the technical level, and they are getting more sophisticated on the technical level, which is really scary, because if we just remember the recent OPM attack by Chinese hackers, well, terrorists can recruit hackers. Statistically speaking, just one among those 30,000 will be a hacker. He can launch an attack. They can buy the services of hackers, and they can be provided with professional hackers by governments that support them. The Syrian army has the SEA, Syrian Electronic Army, which is a unit of hackers. The Iranians have a military unit of hackers, the North Korean, and so on. The potential for terrorists to find hackers, not just by recruiting them, but being provided by state units, is alarming.
Some new trends to talk about, direct recruitment of women, of children, encouragement of lone wolves.
Right.
These are alarming.
These are alarming because it's very tough to find the lone wolves. And there's the challenge there, and there's also the potential. Lone wolves are those lone terrorists, and actually all the recent cases in recent years of terrorist attacks in Europe and North America were lone wolves. But actually they are not lone wolves. They are never alone. There's a virtual pack that you can find. Only today in Virginia, Ali Shukri was convicted, actually admitted, pleaded guilty for using Twitter to recruit other people and send them for ISIS, for supporting ISIS online and so on. So why is that a challenge? Because it's very hard to find them. Why is there opportunity? Because all of them, in some way or another, are linked to the virtual group, or to the virtual terrorist group behind them online. So there's a potential also to find them there.
Well, the tactics of blowing things up or killing civilians, which has been a staple of terrorism throughout time. Now we're talking about something potentially very, very different, though, aren't we?
Right.
Talking about infrastructure, we're talking about electrical grids, we're talking about financial institutions.
You know, you asked me about 2006 book, and over there I used a metaphor about cyber terrorism. I said, this is like a dark cloud somewhere there, the horizon. It may come here, it may take years, I don't know when. Now let me tell you that the dark cloud is already here. And terrorists are already not just motivated to use it, but are trying to acquire the capabilities to do it. They do look at cases like the OPM attack, they learn lessons, and they certainly are trying to, let's say, top 9/11. How can you top 9/11? You need something more dramatic, more effective. Cyber terrorism can be the one.
What about the gap between the threat level and the response to the threat level? Is it significant?
Yeah, well, I hope it's narrowing down the gap, but here's a gap. And in my book, I argue that we are always reacting to what they do. And I suggest that we should be more innovative and maybe more preemptive about it. That is, whatever they did was that they used our platforms. There was Twitter, they used Twitter, there's Facebook, they used Facebook. We try to respond to that, and they respond to our response. So this is a dialectic game and a never-ending game. What I suggested is that we look at emerging platforms and design them in a way that will be terrorism safe. That is, if we look at something which is the next platform, the next Twitter, the next Facebook, the next Bitcoin, how can we make those platforms safer? Because chasing them afterwards is too late.
Can we make those things safer and still ensure the level of civil liberties that people in free societies are used to?
This is an excellent question, and this is the question about the balance. Well, I would say that there is a need to compromise. You can't get 100% national security and 100% civil rights. There must be a compromise, but we have to make the compromise in a very smart way. We have to find what is the best compromise in terms of minimizing the damage to our civil liberties and yet allowing surveillance, monitoring, downloading of information by security forces. So we have to be very, I would say, careful about finding this golden path. We have to be very careful about securing our security, and nevertheless, we need to do monitoring, we need to do downloading, we need to do storing of information, because this is the way, this is the window to the terrorists.
It's a vitally important subject, and Gabby Weimann, thank you for your contribution. I hope people will read the book. This is tip of the iceberg, but thanks for your time with us.
Thank you.